Good morning, Rabbi Isai. All right, I have a question for the Olam. The Olam should know this, but I saw the Israelis had an issue with it. So I'm going to ask the Shaila here. Person takes a cow, shechs its trachea halfway, 50%, goes home, takes a nap for 4 hours, comes back, shechs the other 50%, and the esophagus. 50% of the kana, takes a nap, goes back. Don't answer you over there. What's the halacha? Good or not good? Do not answer it. Let's think about it. So Rabbi Isai, if he shechted 45%, is the animal treif or nevela? What is the animal? It's nothing. It's nothing. If it has a hole in the kana, in the trachea, it's nothing. Up to a half, it's nothing. It's as if nothing happened. So let's start over again. You have an animal that has a cut trachea of less than 50%, so nothing happened to it. So he went to sleep. It's not a shehiyah. Pretend there's no shechita at all. There's something called Kisei Adam, Hizra, Weissfish, and AI, complete AI. How do I know it's AI? Because it'll take about 10 people to grab this animal. At least 10. Probably 10 wouldn't even do it. He just knocks it to the ground. It's almost his voice. And he's just sitting there, yeah, shecht me, I don't care. So if you shecht a deer, like that kind of animal, a gazelle, a deer, it's a chaya. You're chayiv in Kisei Adam. There's one other thing that you have to do Kisei Adam too, and that is a chicken, a bird. This is the pasuk. You trap chaya, oyoif, or a bird. V'shafach es damai. You spilled its blood. V'chiso ba'afer. So one wants to learn that the word v'shafach is very strange. V'shafach means you spilled its blood. You killed it. It doesn't say shchita. It should have said v'shafach is damai v'chiso ba'afer. V'shafach is a lashon of non-shchita. So you see that a bird you don't have to shecht. What's the obvious question? What about a chaya? It's in the same pasuk, and the v'shafach goes in a chaya too. So says the Gemara, shenemar v'shafach b'shpicha v'al b'sagi, just spilling its blood is okay. Yachi chayinami. So if so, it would come out that a wild animal too, you don't have to do shchita. Says the Gemara, itkash l'psulei hamukdashim. There's something called psul hamikdash. Basically, if I bring a sheep to the Beis Hamikdash as a carbon, and I find out that it has a broken leg on the way, so I have to redeem it. And now what? Once it's redeemed, what do I do? So the Torah says, this is the pasuk, b'shorecha techlenu, you could eat it normally in your house, b'shorecha, in your gates. It doesn't have to be in the Beis Hamikdash. Hatami b'atar yachtav ketzivu chayo. You eat it like you eat a tzvi. Like you eat a deer, what does that mean? You have to shecht it. Says Gemara, so if that's the case, then a bird also you'd have to shecht, because we said yesterday that it says the word bird and behem in the same pasuk. And just like a behem you have to shecht, so to a bird. Well, you're right. But what should I do? I have this pasuk we just saw, v'shafach, and that's an exclusion that you don't have to shecht. But it could be a chaya, it could be a oiv. Which one is it? It's only one of the two. Maybe the word v'shavach, that you spill its blood, goes on a chaya, not on a bird. It says, if you look at the pasuk here on the chart, it says chaya, oif, v'shavach. Which word is closest to the word v'shavach? The word oif. So oif is the one that you don't have to shecht. So now the Gemara is going to ask a bunch of questions on Rabbi Yitzchak ben Pinchas. He says that Midar writes, and let's go back to Daf Chaf. We learned this about a week ago. There's three options when it comes to a bird. Either there's a pasuk that tells me that I have to shech the chicken, or Moshe Rabbeinu heard it from the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's called Halacha LaMoshe Sinai. It's not in the Torah Mefurish, but Moshe Rabbeinu heard it. Or it's just the Rabbanan. There's no reason to shecht a bird. Rabbanan said you have to shecht a bird. So we're going to ask a bunch of questions here. Meisvei. You're performing shchita, and you start shaking like a leaf, and you ruined the whole shchita. Now you went above the tabas agdoila, or like Rabbi Avram Weisfish pointed out to me. Below this is the trachea. There's two areas that are puzzle, all the way on the top, by the tongue, where the trachea connects over there, by the tabas agdoila, but also where it connects to the lung. If you shecht below that area, it's also treif. Says the Gemara, it says like this. Hanoicher v'ma'aker. You guys remember what noicher is? It's a pretty interesting picture. If you're grossed out from these things, don't look. Cutting like the wrong way, slicing from the chin all the way down, here like this. V'ma'aker, or somebody who uproots the trachea. Patur milachasois. Check this out. If we go back to this pasuk, Kisi Adam, what does it say? It says, Asher ye'ochel. When do you do Kisi Adam? When you're about to eat from this animal. What if I take a deer and I shoot it in the head? I kill it. I hunted it. I killed it. Am I mechuyev in Kisi Adam? No, I'm not mechuyev in Kisi Adam because it's not Asher ye'ochel. I can't eat it. So you understand the Gemara's question? The Gemara's question is as follows. If I don't have to do shechita on a chicken, there's no chiyuv. You say there's no shechita in a chicken. So I cut its neck this way, not that way. So I can still eat it. If I can still eat it, I should be mechuyev to do kisei adam. Why does it say here patam lechasis? I don't have to do kisei adam. That's how you can check it either way. Rashi just says you have to do some sort of action in the esophagus and the trachea. That's it. You can do it with the pliers. You can do it with the scissors. You can do it in the nechira. So you should be chayav for kisei adam. Says Gemara, you misunderstood. Misaris ba'if? Loi, b'chayav. You should have to do kisei adam. Says Gemara, misaris ba'if? Loi, b'chayav. That halacha of patim l'chasos is only in this picture right over here. Only in a deer. If you do this to a deer, you can't eat the deer, so you don't have to cover the blood. But if you do this exact action to a chicken, then you do have to do kisei adam. Why? Because you could eat the chicken according to Reb Pinchas. Tashma. Hashoich v'tzorch l'dam chayv l'chasis. Yeah. No. We're talking about what the Deraisa, I don't know what he holds. The minimum today, according to everybody, you have to shecht a bird, midrabana. We're talking about Deraisa. And the chiyuv of kisei adam and Deraisa. Tashma. Hashoich v'tzorch l'dam chayv l'chasis. Today they do many things with the blood. Nothing goes to waste in the shlachtos. There's a lot of stuff you do. It becomes animal feed, all sorts of stuff. The fish, I don't know what. But in those days, there's one or two things you can do with the blood. Let's say you need the blood. You need blood. So what if you need blood? You have to cover the blood. And when you cover blood, guess what happens? It becomes, you can't use it anymore. You're covering it with all this dirt. It becomes, you can't use it. But I need to chase away these moths. What do I do? The only thing you can do is shoot it in the head. Do a nechira. Do not do a shchita. If you do a nechira, then what? Then you can't eat it. So if you can't eat it, then you don't have to do kisei adam. My laboif. Same kind of question, same answer. We're talking about a bird. For these moths. Here, we even have a little gross thing with the moths. Here they go. Look at them. Mamish alive, eating this cloth. But if you put a drop of blood. Yeah. Okay. Loi, b'chaya. We're talking about a chaya. Once again, the same idea. Chaya, of course, you can't eat a deer after you kill it and not shecht it. And what do you need the blood for? The kabayla may lilaka. Going back to yesterday's video, I stole this from the video. This is mamish live. This is lilaka. They take a white piece of leather. You can see behind them it's kind of white, and he stains it with this. So instead of staining with yellow, they'll stain it with red. Tashma. Again, what are we coming to answer? We're coming to answer Yitzchak ben Pinchas, who says that you don't have to shecht a bird min ha-Torah. Only min Rabbanan. It says molak v'sakin. What's molak? So Melika is, we're going to have to see this later, but we can show it here. Melika is where you take the fingernail and you go through the spine, and you get to the esophagus and then the trachea. You're going from the other side, from the nape. Now, if you did this with a knife, what did he do? He ruined the whole thing. Melika is something reserved only in the Beis Hamikdash for a kayin. He cuts into the neck of the bird. The only way to kill a bird in the Beis Hamikdash is through Melika. You don't do shchita. This genius decides to do Melika with a knife, which, what does it do? It renders the bird what? A treifa. Why? Because it breaks its neck. By the time he cuts his two simanim, it's a treifa. Let's think about it for a second. You have an animal that has a hole in its heart. It's a treifa. You only find out after you kill it that it had a giant nail stuck right through its heart. Treifa. But the person shechted this animal. It's a good shchita or not a good shchita? It's a good shchita. It takes off tumas. It's a good shchita. You can't eat the animal because it had a big giant nail in its heart.
Yeah.
But it takes off the tuma, 100%.
But you're shechting something that was not.
Doesn't matter. We learned it. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what. There's no tuma.
Really?
Shchita says in the nevela. Here. I'm just. The Gemara is going to say it in a second. Here we go.
Okay.
Says the Gemara. Yeah, we learned it even. As you saw in the video, as soon as the bird goes into his throat, the back of his throat, the person becomes tamei. Ask the Gemara, v'yamers in shchita loif ben atayra. If you tell me that you don't have to really shech the bird, you're right. That when the knife goes through the spine, you created a treifa. It should be like every treifa, you take a knife and you shecht and you get rid of the treifa. So what do you see over here? Why doesn't it work? It doesn't work because you're doing drisa. You're doing chalada. The knife is hidden in the back. You're pushing hard through the spine. You're not going back and forth. That's the problem. So you see, you need a shchita. According to you, that you don't need shchita, what's the problem? Let him go through the back. Let him continue cutting through the simanim. And he did a nice shchita which removes the tumah. Why is this person tummy? I'm just going to throw something out here. It's again Chazarah. We just did it in the week or two. Why is this bird a treifa? This bird is an avela. When you break its neck, it becomes an avela, not a treifa. So what's the answer? We learned this. We have an answer to this. So I'm gonna tell you. Roy Bassa says Remendi. You're right. It becomes an avela, and an avela you can't undo with shchita. If an animal's an avela, you can't take a dead chicken from a roadkill and shecht it. It's an avela. So that's only if you break its spine together with the muscle around the spine. So we said the only way to do it is go from the side and not break the muscle. Not Roy Basar. Very good. Very interesting lashon. Beribi means galadar. Rebbe Elazar Kabed, the galadar. So he holds no shchita of a bird is the minat Torah. It says before in the pasuk. Look at the pasuk. Nachamal. This psula mikdashim, this shlamim that has a broken leg, is going to be like a tzvi v'ka'ayil. What do we learn from it? It's interesting. You're trying to learn psula mikdashim from a deer, and fakert. The opposite happened. The deer, you're going to learn deer from psula mikdashim. A guy's a magid, he comes to teach daf yomi. He doesn't teach daf yomi, he learns daf yomi. The guy preparing the daf, he learns, because he's teaching, he learns. Nimtza, it's just a mashal, yeah? He comes to l'lamed, nimtza lamed. He comes to teach, he's the one that's actually learning it. Makish tzvi v'ayel p'sulei hamikdashim. Ma p'sulei hamikdashim shchita, tzvi v'ayel b'shchita fakert, the boy side. I didn't learn p'sulei hamikdashim from a deer. I learned that a deer, you have shchita in a deer from p'sulei hamikdashim. I thought I'm going to learn something from a deer. It turns out I learned deer from you. V'ay feinli shchita medivir Torah, elam medivir Torah. So it comes out from this pasuk that only a deer has shchita min Torah, but a chicken, according to this man Amar, a chicken is only from chachamim. Chachamim. It's only the Rabbanan. So who's going to argue with the Galadar? Rabbi. Rabbeinu Kadosh, the one who wrote the Mishnah, he argues. What does he say? The Sanya Rabbi Yomi. V'zavachta kasher tzivisicha. Milamin shenistava moishal aveshet v'alkona. I want you to shecht v'zavachta like I commanded you. What is that? I commanded you. I command you that you should shecht the kon and the veshet two simanim. V'alroi v'echad ba'oif. Only one siman. I'm telling you right away. One siman with a bird. V'alroi shnayim b'behema. And two simanim. That's what I told you on Har Sinai. There's a Moridik Taisvis here. One of these incredible Taisvisin. Taisvis says, where did Rebbe get it from? Yesh Mefarshim, the Darsh Begematria. It was a Gematria. The Kasher, the word Kasher, or let's just take Aleph Shin Reish, Asher, Aleph Echad Boif, Shin, Shnayim Bebehema, Reish, Rubish Elechad Kamayu. So it's not so much a Gematria, it's like a Rosh Tevis. So if you have a Hagoyz Tzionim, I want to read to you an unbelievable thing from the Rishonim. Ois Samach in the Hagoyz Tzionim, Nirish Yesh Chisarim B'divrei HaTaisvus. It's missing. Where's the Gematria? B'tzarech loyme k'moshe kotzev b'Balaturim. Balaturim, who's the Balaturim? The son of the Rosh. Arishan. He says, B'Shem Rabbeinu Yaakov in Kurvil, Ki kasher tzivisicha, and I did the math, kasher tzivisicha came out for me 1,047. B'Gematria. Here's the Gematria. That's what's missing from Taisvus. Roi v'echad b'oi v'roi v'shnayim b'behema. It's also 1,047. Kasher tzivisicha and roi v'echad b'oi v'roi v'shnayim b'behema are identical, and that's Rebbe's remez from the pasuk. It's not the first time we saw that in Taisvus, but it's very rare. Gematria, that we're learning something from a Gematria. It's not a Kabbalistic, it's one of the things that you learn, Gematriyois. Echad b'oif. Rabbi Isai, we know that when it comes to the chicken, you don't have to shech both simanim, the kon and the veshet. Only one, midiraisa. Which one? Which one? Which one do you cut? Either. So that's the sugya. Machloikis. Echad b'oif, what's the first one? What's the first one that you hit? Imavir al mitzvahs. The first one is the trachea. Echad b'oif, itmar Rav Nachman Omar, oy veshes, oy kana. You could either or. Ravada Barav Omar, veshes v'loy kana. This is interesting. Only the esophagus, the food pipe, not the breathing pipe. Veshes v'loy kana. How do you get to the veshet without the kana? The way I always understood it, and it seems from Rashi says mefurish, that it goes kana, veshet, and spine, but it's not like that. The pictures, and I asked Rav Weisvish, it's a little bit on the angle. Like you could get to the veshet. It first comes kana, but to the side of it in the back. Here, I'll show you a picture. It's more like this. You see, first you hit the white, the kana, but the veshet is not directly behind it. The veshet is behind it, but slightly to the side. So you could actually come from an angle and just cut the veshet and not the kana. What does it say? Echad? Echad ba'if. What is echad? Miyuchad. The more important one. Why is the veshet more important than the kana? With the veshet, I skip. It says one or the other. Echad kaldu, either one you want. It says one, it means the more important one. The more we start off the shear. Kana, you could have a cut in the kana, and the animal's not even considered a treifa. You have a tiny little hole in the trachea, not in the trachea, in the esophagus. It's done. Wow, how did it get so late? This is simple. You're doing a shchita, you shechted the veshet, the kana, the veshet, the esophagus, and then the gargeres means the kana. Then the trachea pops out kshera. Why is it kosher? Because you did a great shchita, you shechted the veshet. Afterwards, something popped out. It popped out after the animal's dead, so it's kosher. But if the trachea popped out first, we had this halacha. If it popped out first, so it's a treifa, no good. What if you did a shchita on the how do you say it? The esophagus. And then you found that the trachea is popped out. You don't know when it popped out, before or after shechita. Is a story like that. But what's the Gemara's point? It doesn't say that a person shechted the trachea and the esophagus popped out. Why doesn't it say that? So what's the answer? Why doesn't it say that a person shechted the kana, he was shechting the trachea, and all of a sudden the esophagus popped out? So you see, the Gemara wants to point out, you see that you're not allowed to go, that's not a good shechita. The only good shechita is if you shech the esophagus and the trachea pops out. But if you shech the trachea and the esophagus pops out, it's not a good shechita, because you have to shech one siman, and which is that one siman? Only. But what's the real answer? The real answer is because it doesn't happen. It's not something that's common.
The muscle, it can't pop out.
Right. What could happen is for the trachea to pop out, but what never happens is that the esophagus pops out. Toshma, if a person shechted a half a siman of the trachea, half a siman of the esophagus, in a bird, psula. Why? Because he didn't do a roiv of any of the simanim. And certainly if you did the same thing in an animal, it doesn't work. So it says, Rabbi Yehuda says, by bird, and we're going to talk about this, Rabbi Yehuda, you have to shecht the veshet. It doesn't say kana, it says veshet. Only the eating tube and the vridim. Let's see here, check this out. You have to get that vrid, that blue thing, the jugular, according to Rashi. But he says mafurish, only one, and which one? The esophagus, not the trachea. What says Gemara? No. Mishum deveshet samach levridim. It's only because that jugular is next to the veshet over here. He shows a mamish next to it, so it's easier. But if you shech the kana and then the vridim, you're also good. When we learned, last time we learned Chullin, I think the Sichas Chullin brings it down. I didn't do research on it. He claims that the jugular by kosher animals is in the makam shechita. So when you cut the simanim, you get the jugular, you get all the good veins, and all the blood comes out. The animal dies very, very quickly. By non-kosher animals, he claims that the jugular is behind the spinal cord, and you can't get to it by regular shechita. Oh. Toshma, this is the question I asked in the beginning of this year. You shecht a half a kana, a half a trachea, and you went to sleep. As long as it takes to do a shechita, and that's called shehiyah. And then he came and he finished off the job. It's a good shechita. Why? Because the first time that you cut is not considered shechita. My love, boy. Look how we're talking about a bird. Over here you see that you could cut, you could do one siman, and even the trachea, even the kana. Loi, bebehema. You got both things wrong. When it said that it shechted it wasn't talking about a bird, it was talking about a behema. And when it said to finish, it didn't mean to finish off the trachea. It meant, Gemara l'shchita kula, he finished both simanim. Tashma, harei kana pagum. If a person, same idea, comes, you find that the kana is half damaged, in other words, cut. And with a knife, he went and he made, instead of having, it has an incision, 45% incision on the trachea, he goes and he cuts more. And he finished it. Shchita sisher is a good shchita. My laboif, you're talking about a bird, and you see that you could be mekayim the mitzvah of shchita just on the trachea. Umay gemara lakana. Loi, same idea. Bebehema, we're only talking about an animal. He did this to an animal. Umay gemara leveshet. And it means he finished off not only the trachea, but also the esophagus, the veshet. Toshma. Ketzah molkim chatasoif. How do you do malika? Going back to malika, just to show it again. Malika is when you take your thumbnail and you go through the back of the neck, the nape, through the spine, into the esophagus, right through the trachea. It says mafurish over here. You should not cut the muscle. Otherwise, you'd render it an avela. But it says mafurish, you could get to either or. And it says mafurish, you could also just shecht the kana, and your yaitz a malika. This is checkmate. It says either or, laveshet or lakana. You ask me, which one of the two are you shechting? We had a machlokes. Over here it says mefurish, even if I shecht the trachea, or not shecht, melika, the trachea, that's good. And once you get there, then you make sure you cut all the muscle. And you have to sever the whole head, so you have to cut both. Tiyufta the Ravada Barahava, Tiyufta is very, very strong. Says Gemara Mayhav Allah. At the end of the day, which one of the two do you cut? Mayhav Allah. I just established checkmate. No? Checkmate means checkmate. It means that you could cut either or. No, the reason why I think it's not a great raya, we're talking about Malika. You're talking about going from the back, like this picture, going right through the mafrekas to the spine. Says Rashi, therefore, if I cut even the kana a little bit, it'll kill the animal because the animal's 3/4 dead to begin with. But if I'm coming from the other side, shechita is from the other side, maybe cutting the kana is not enough. Maybe the animal will continue living. Maybe it's not a good shechita. Toshma. Rabbi says story time. There was a duck, an injured duck. Its whole neck was full of blood. Now we have a big problem. How are you going to shech this duck? I need to shech it quickly before it dies, but I don't know if the blood is coming from the trachea, from the esophagus, from its tongue. Maybe it had a tooth problem. I don't know where the blood is coming from. What can we do here? It's a big problem. We'll do the sponsors after the story. I'm gonna shecht it. Then I'm gonna open up and see whether it had a hole in one of the two simanim. I can't check it. Why? Maybe the knife went exactly into the hole where this blood is the source of the blood, and I'm not gonna see the hole because I shechted it. So check to see if there's a hole beforehand. I can't. Why? Check this out. Beautiful picture. When I check the esophagus, I can't check on the left one. I can't see that there's a hole here. It blends right in. But if I check from the inside of the esophagus, since it's white, you can see the hole. Oh, but that's only after the animal's dead. I can't pull out a live duck's esophagus and turn it inside out and see if there's a thing. And if I did, what did I do? I made it a treifa on the spot. They say treifa, but I hear what you're saying. Okay. So this is Rav Omar Le Rav Yosef Brei. So Rav's son, his name was Rav Yosef. He says, I have a great idea. Nibdekei lekana. With your fingers, you could just run it up and down the trachea from outside and see if it has any holes in it. V'nishchatei lekana, and only cut through the kana. V'lichsherei. So they'll be kosher because I did one siman. So what do you see from the story right here? What do we see? That one siman could be the kana also. V'hadar, and after it's dead, lafchula veshet v'livdekei. And then you pull out the veshet and you'll check it. Amarava Chakim Yosef Beriba Treifais. Wow, that was powerful what you said. What a great idea. I love it. It's like Rabbi Yochanan. Rashi brings that Shmuel sent 13 camels to Rabbi Yochanan. Oh, so when it says in the Mishnah Echad that you could shecht one of the simanim, you could shecht even the kana, because from this story, that was Rabbi Yosef's great idea to shecht just the kana. Rabbi Yehuda says you have to shecht the vridim. Question: why do you have to shecht the vridim? There's two reasons why you shecht the vridim. Either to drain, it's a practical way to drain all the blood. Obviously, you're not allowed to eat blood. It's the right to eat blood. So have a practical way how to drain it. There's another reason. Maybe it's part of the shechita. Maybe it's like 2 simanim plus the jugular. What's an afkimina? Lamaisa, there's an afkimina. Do the halachas of shechita apply to the veins? Shehiyah, dris on the veins. Or no, take any device, take a plier and go like this and cut it. As long as you're able to drain the blood. He says, no, the reason is to drain the blood. I'm giving you practical advice, and it's only in a bird you need this practical advice. When it comes to an animal, since you're chopping it up into little pieces, it doesn't matter. Says Gemara, the time they review the Mishum Damu. L'chayra, it's a practical thing. But how could that be? But now Rabbi Yehuda Omer actually yishchoit is a vridim. He says first the lashon of shchita on the jugular. You have to do shchita to the jugular. Ema actually nakev is a vridim. Poke the vridim here. We're going to see soon. I'm just going to steal it. But I told him, it was a little tough. People that don't like blood, so he changed it a little bit. In other words, it doesn't have to be shchita as long as you get all the liquids out. So why does it say shchita? So this whole should be done during shchita. The Gemara is going to say why. Tashma vridim b'shchita. It says mefura shchita. The Rabbi Yehuda, so you see it's an inyan of shchita, not an inyan of draining the blood. Aim of vridim tzarich l'nakvim b'shas shchita. No, the inyan is to make a hole in it. When? During shchita. The Rabbi Yehuda. Tashma Rabbi Yehuda. Machshla Yehuskuru vridim elo haitzim dam mali b'shchita mali shloi b'shchita. If the whole point is just to drain this animal, why does it have to be done by shchita? Do it after shchita, 10 minutes later. Miklal the Rabbi Yehuda saw b'shchita. You see that it is shchita because they're asking this question. Achi ka'amri. Mali l'nagim b'shas shchita, mali l'nagim shloi b'shas shchita. What's the difference when you do the whole vusava, and what's taka the svara? Why does he say do it only during shchita? B'shas shchita, it makes a lot of sense. B'shas shchita asi dam d'chayim. It's chayim means hot, warm. When the blood is flowing easily, so it's much better to do it by shchita. Shloi b'shas shchita, but if you wait 10 minutes, li'osi dam, it's not going to come out the kar because it starts congealing. By Rabbi Yirmiyah, so Rashi says he didn't hear what Rav Chizda said. That it's a practical way to get all the blood out. Vridim Rabbi Yehuda shaben daras be'mau. Is there a halachas a shchita on the jugular? Amar leo saba. Maybe it's Eliyahu Navi. Maybe not. Tachi Amar Rabbi Lazar. Amar leo saba Rabbi Lazar. Tachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Min nakvam bekoitz. This picture right over here. It doesn't have to be shchita as long as you make a hole in it and drain it. That's enough. Just 4 more lines. By the way, in our Gemara, I was very proud. In our Gemara, it says and it tells you what Rav Chizda said. Other Gemaras, no. We learned Rav Chizda on top of the Amid. I don't know. A lot of us don't even remember who Rav Chizda is, what he is. In our Gemara, we're makbid these kind of things to bring it in the official Gemara. What does it say? What does Rav Chizda say? That it's Rabbi Yehuda only said is halacha by a bird. By a bird, there's an issue of drainage. By an animal, there's no issue of draining. That's why Rabbi Yehuda said you have to shech the vridim. So Tanya Kavos said Rav Chizda write him. You shech the 2 halves, parcel. Rabbi Yehuda Omer be'oif, only in a bird like Rav Chizda. You should shech, only in a bird, you have to shecht the vridim, the jugular. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.